Scott Pendlebury with us this morning, Marty.
Good morning, Scott. Thank you for making the effort, because I know you didn't arrive back in Melbourne till late last night.
Oh, early this morning.
Morning.
I got home about 3 a.m.
Oh,
that's
beautiful.
Makes it a lot easier, though. You fly back with the 4 points.
Yes.
Much more
Good
enjoyable.
win.
A bit more banter on the plane.
Yeah.
Not just everyone just sitting in their seats pretending they're asleep. So I never see them. No, it was enjoyable.
I just, in your intro there where they go, number 10, Scott Pendlebury. When I was at the Roo Boys game on the weekend, I reckon there was about 300 people in the cheer squad, and when they went through everyone's numbers, it was like, that must be slightly soul crushing when you've got a guy doing a big voiceover and then it's like, hey.
Need to get the claps, that clap sounds and stuff.
Yes.
Have you heard the audio of when Scott won his Norm Smith and the announcer completely butchered his name?
No, I haven't.
We'll get the
I
audio.
thought the guy had a few too many beverages at lunchtime. or something,
DC, if you can grab that.
Yeah.
You had gastro last week, and I believe it ripped through the club.
Yeah.
How was everyone?
It ripped through for about 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then this was the first week where we had no one crook. A few guys had runny noses, so they were sent home straight away. But I was just saying off air, it's probably the sickest I reckon I've been in 5 or 6 years.
Is that right?
Like the hot and
It
cold
really got
sweats. I rang the club doc around 1 o'clock on game day and
Yeah,
he said,
because
like,
you were a late withdrawal, weren't you?
I said, like, I'm pretty crook, mate. I said, the thought of running makes me want to vomit.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, there's no way. I'll be in hospital if I try and play. So it wasn't just like when you've got a bit of the sniffles and I'll get out there and play.
Yeah.
I was legitimately like, couldn't
Which is a
sleep
big
at
call.
night time. Oh, it's the hardest call. When you ring the doc and be like, I've got to pull out, mate, because I feel crook.
And you must have felt the responsibility of that as well, of being the captain of the club,
Yeah.
wanting to lead by example.
also-
I could push through this.
Yeah, and I'd trained fully 2 days beforehand. Woke up, not great Thursday. Thought, I'll sleep it off tonight. Then hot, cold sweats and the like. And then,
Just never came
48
good.
hours and then I was all right again. But
Yeah,
geez,
right.
it hit hard and, just that feeling of being sore everywhere.
Yeah,
Felt
bone
like I was-
sore.
Felt like I was a really old man.
Yeah,
We've got that audio if you want it.
Yes, please.
So funny.
And the winner of the Norm Smith Medal for 2010 is Scott Pendlebury.
He even got 10 wrong. He got the number wrong as well.
20 Ben 10.
Oh, I run up and just took the medal anyway.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Just in case there was a Scott Embry. So you went over to Perth, had a great win, had a good game yourself. What were some of the highlights from the game for you?
There's a couple of big hangers from our team.
Yeah.
Jamie Elliott nearly took mark of the year, I reckon, in the first 5 minutes, first game back in 5 weeks, and Howie took a massive one. I think for us, I think we had 90 tackles. It was a really wet game of footy, and we adapted to the conditions really well. So
And they didn't, by all reports.
Yeah, well, I feel like our pressure was really high as well, something that we have been known for in the first part of the year. I think against the Bulldogs that dropped off, but it's been pretty good for the majority of the year. We were able to pressure them really well and force them to handball back a lot and then run over the top of them pretty much without pressure. And, we got some scoreboard reward. And footy's a funny game. Like Ollie Henry last week kicked, I think, zip 4 and 1 out on the full and then starts to sub, comes on and kicks 4 goals, 1 in the second half. So,
Just bang.
and just confidence is a beautiful thing for young guys. And, we played some really good team footy and in the end come away with a really, really good win.
Yeah, and we were just chatting about Perth generally because I was over there a couple of weekends ago. Mate, that joint is a ghost town, is it not?
Yeah, well, we went for a walk when we landed after training on Saturday night, thinking, we'll go for a walk, see what's happening around here.
See what's happening in this bustling city.
All I seen was my teammates going for walks around the city trying to see what was happening.
Running into other teams.
Hey, how good's Perth? Pretty good. Where have you been? Just up there? No.
Where is everyone?
I don't know where they are. I think the
On the
COVID
beat.
is really rattled
okay.
them.
Yeah.
Because they never went through what we went through, where we were just so happy to get out. They've gone the other way. They really want to be at home.
Yeah, right.
Even in that little pocket where the theatre I was working at in Subiaco, the last time I was there, that Subiaco hotel was just spilling out onto the streets.
It's a busy area usually.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what's going on in Perth, but you'd be glad to be out of there.
Yeah, it was nice getting on the flight and coming home.
It really is.
Oh yeah, when you're on the road, all you see is each other. So you usually want to go out for a walk and bump into some people and whatever. But that didn't happen.
Well, and it'd be a lot of this illness within the club would be about that, wouldn't it? Because you were in a hub for so long. Now all the guys in the club who have got kids, they're all back at school, daycare. You're picking up all of these bugs and viruses that are out there.
Yeah.
The flu is through the roof
and
at the moment.
Our doc said like this flu season was going to be a pretty bad one, and
He's right.
yeah, and didn't miss there, and so we've all got it, and hopefully we've got through it, and now back to full health.
Did you get a chance to watch the election?
No.
Albanese's the new Prime Minister.
There you go. Who I voted for.
In the effort, I know you've flown back from Perth and it's a long way, so thank you. We were just talking earlier in the show about Robbo's comments about umpiring across the weekend. Will and I were in here first thing this morning having a look at a few frees, particularly in the Lions game. And North v Melbourne, which I went to on the weekend, some of the frees were just outrageous. What was Robbo's quote?
Robbo says that the dangerous tackle rule in particular, and he says, quote, it's further eroding the combative nature of our sport, how they're trying to broaden the definition of what's a dangerous tackle, and there's less and less of that high impact, particularly to the head, which you understand.
Which everyone wants to rub out. And as a player, I suppose, you want the tackle to be the safest thing it can be, but I guess it's the subjective nature of all of these rules.
It's so difficult because every tackle has the potential to be a dangerous tackle.
Yeah.
And I have this argument. It's like when a guy jumps up for a hanger, take a big specky, they need blokes in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That's really dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
But we don't take that out because we don't go,
Spectacular.
You took a great mark, but sorry, you need him in the head. It's his free kick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a fine line. I think the one from the North Melbourne game, I've only seen a photo of it, but it looked like Ed Langdon had jumped up with his arms exposed and then he just got hit and driven forward. Yeah, it's such a tricky one because you want to still be physical. And because if you're not physical, you can feel it as you're getting tackled. Oh, this guy's trying to look after me. So you get your arms free and get rid of the ball.
Yes, right, of
sort
course.
Of like,
and also when you're performing the tackle as well, if you're that way inclined, you'll feel yourself start easing off a bloke, which I suppose is just counterintuitive and goes against everything you've learnt as a footballer coming up through the ranks.
And then that team probably gets the ball out, they move it forward, get a goal, and then the coaches come back and like, why didn't you got to hit that tackle harder, pin his arms, whatever it is. And like no coaches anymore are saying, pin their arms and dump them to ground. So
no.
But yeah, you just don't want to lose that. The high flying marks, the big tackles. Because I feel like sometimes now the slinging motion, you're getting a free kick when guys are fighting, because guys are quite smart too. If you jump off the ground, you take their body weight, they get thrown around. It looks like a sling tackle as well. So it's like everything. As soon as there's a rule, players and coaches figure out a way to manipulate it. So I just don't want to go down that path with all this stuff.
Yeah.
When it's post game and you're in the sheds, do you guys talk about the umpiring? Or or as a leader, do you just not accept that as a conversation because it seems like you're laying a bit of blame?
No, you always watch like the Friday night to see if you can pick up if there's any trends of, they're going to be hotter on the 50s or
remonstrating.
The rule of the week, so to speak.
Often
happens.
We always find like the one that's always a little bit annoying for us as players, and I'm sure the umpires probably find it the same, is the protected area. When guys run through and it has no effect on the play.
None whatsoever.
Like 50 metres and blokes looking around like, who's that against? They're like, he was within 5 metres. And it's like the kicker's not even going that way. So there's some... Yesterday, there was one in our game when I thought there was a holding the ball decision. So I was talking to him. I was like, I thought he had time. He faked. And he's like, there's 7 things I'm looking for in holding the ball. And I just said, well, don't tell me. That's too many things that you've got to look for. I don't want to know. I was just like, I just thought it was holding the ball. If you didn't, great. I don't want to hear the 7 reasons.
I know. I don't need this.
I don't have time.
The checklist of 7 reasons why it wasn't holding the ball.
So we're playing like a game on the biggest field with the most people playing, 360 degrees. Someone gets the ball and you've got a checklist of 7 things in 0.7 of a second to make a decision.
Yeah. And it still winds the crowd up. I don't know if they're ever going to change the crowd's respect of umpiring. Yeah, you'll change the majority of the crowd because, we're all sort of sensible adults. But the bloke next to me at North, I thought he was going to have a fit.
Yeah.
He was beside himself, screaming at an umpire who's 200 metres away.
Yeah.
I thought, mate, you've just got to wind it back a touch.
Yeah, I know. What's sort of the tribal nature of footy? Isn't it?
Well,
It's so attached to it.
It's the
I found it interesting because I'm a big advocate for that, being respectful for the umpires and that. But then our club psych was like, it's impossible for you guys to do. Like, it's psychologically impossible because of how competitive it is. And she could go into all the details about it, but she's like, they're asking you to do something you physically can't do. So she's like, in that initial thing, there's going to be a response. And then after, maybe a second or whatever it is, you guys will be able to come
Is
back
this
to what
part of the
happened.
remonstration issue?
Yeah,
Dissent.
So, the dissent thing. And I found that really interesting. So I feel like we're getting better. I feel like there is going to be times, guys are like, because the umpires might miss a free kick or we might think we're in the right. As long as it doesn't go,
Well,
too
it's drilled
far.
into you win-loss.
Yeah.
And if
yeah.
loss is becoming an issue,
And it's drilled into us from the moment you step in and you do Auskick or you play basketball or whatever. You celebrate, the scoreboard's there, you celebrate. Even now, like, kids do Auskick or whatever, there's no score.
well, you'd have
But they
kids
keep-
almost coming through the system now of
I
no
got-
scoring, wouldn't you?
I got kids. My son does Auskick down in Elwood, and it's like he comes off, and they don't even play a match. But he tells me, I kicked 3 goals, Louis kicked 2.
Yeah, they know.
Sammy kicked 4.
Oh, they keep count.
Yeah, they know
It's
for
like,
sure.
If they just bloody put a scoreboard up, he wouldn't have to do
Yeah.
all this. But for his maths, like,
He'd be exhausted.
Yeah.
He's coming off. I got 3. He got 2. That's 5. He kicked 2 points. We're 5-2.
Yeah.
6 times tables.
exactly. Yeah. Sharp.
Sharpening up.
What else caught your eye over the weekend? Hawthorn Brisbane looked like it was a belter. I didn't see much of it.
63 free kicks. You guys told me.
63
Highest since
frees.
2012.
I find it funny that I come in here and it's like, did you hear about that game? There was 63 free kicks. Not it was 229 points scored, the highest scoring. I think it's something like Brisbane's the highest scoring losing side in like 10 years,
Yeah, that'd be right.
scoring over 110 points and not winning.
And not winning.
So I find the number irrelevant. If there's 30 holding the balls, play 30. It's not like we're only allowed to play 12 today. And
Yeah.
Because is that rule of thumb, if you're the first to score 100 points, you win the game, slightly
Usually.
changing now?
I'd be interested. I don't know who 100 first in that game, but
Hawthorn did. Yeah, if anything, it's becoming more solid because so
right.
few teams hit 100 these days.
yeah. So that looks like it was an amazing game.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Carlton Sydney was a good game for a lot of it.
Yeah, it was. It was sort of like a game of two halves, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Carlton dominated the first, Sydney dominated the second, and we play Carlton on Sunday, which will be a big game, and it's awesome to have
That's
them
going
back
to be a
playing.
massive game.
Yeah, I think there'll be.
It's at a kooky time, though. What time is it?
3:20. That's
3:20.
3:20. That's a pretty good time on a Sunday.
That's
3:20 on
yeah.
a Sunday,
That's the
Knock
Channel
off
7
all your
game.
family commitments in the morning, and then
yeah,
head over to the G in the afternoon.
and just go. That how many do you reckon? 80,000.
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone's coming back now. The start of the year when it was a bit eerie. Still,
Yeah.
you thought there'd be 80. There's only 60. I reckon this is.
This will be
If
huge.
you're going to get them to a game, will be this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carlton are up and about. They reckon they've cracked the code. It's wonderful when Carlton are up and about, isn't it, Loz?
Yep. Big. It's our year, guys.
Just get the lid on beautifully, Loz. Who's North got this weekend?
I feel like
You really
North
wanna-
have someone's good. They play Brisbane.
No, we've played North. This bloody the AFL website.
St Kilda, Sunday at 1:10.
Oh, it is too. Yeah, that'll be fun. St Kilda North. Oh, we're a chance. Collingwood, Carlton, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Freo. Well, really, Sydney, Richmond, Friday night will be a good game.
Yeah, that would be a ripper up there. Two really good sides. Yeah, I look forward to that
Yeah,
one.
that'll be a belter.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it, isn't it? Oh, well, mate, have fun on Sunday. You must get up and about for these massive games. There's a few of them through the year for you, obviously. Anzac Day is the obvious one.
Yeah.
But
And this one too.
this
This
one
one
will be
feels more
massive.
tribal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This will be huge.
So I know Carlton don't like us and our fans don't really like them.
No.
When do you start, as a player, when do you start really putting on the game face for these? Do you wait till Sunday morning so you're
That's
not
funny.
exhausting yourself?
I was talking to Jack Ginnivan yesterday about it, and because he's pretty relaxed before a game, and so am I. And he's like, "When do you feel like you start getting ready,
Yeah.
mentally?" And I said, "Oh, about 3:20 Sunday." When it's like, "Well, yeah, I think I've played long enough." And Guinea's the same. He's like, "Well, I'll be ready when the ball goes up. There's
Yeah.
no point being ready."
Yeah.
Like we do all the prep stuff, all the meetings. I know what's going to happen and what I need to do, but
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
heard Matthew Lloyd talking about how nervous he was as a footballer.
yeah,
And apparently James Hird was the same.
Yeah.
And Matthew Lloyd was saying he used to watch Hirdy's first contest, and that was when some of the nerves would ease out of him because Hird would throw himself in like a maniac,
Yeah.
and then off they all went.
yeah. I've had teammates pre-game like in the bathroom spewing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
oh, I've got to avoid him.
Sam
Yeah.
Thaiday, I used to talk to Sam Thaiday a bit, and
Yeah.
I used to say to him, when do you switch on? And he goes, the first time somebody hits me
Yeah.
is when he was like, bang.
Yeah, but we had Jamie Elliott come back from 6 weeks off with AC surgery, and he's like, I want to play the first centre bounce just so I can get hit, so I'm in the game.
So he's into it.
So, it's just some guys are just different. They just want that
Feel
physical
some
contact. Yeah, and other
Away they
guys,
go.
other guys would be really wound up like an hour and a half before their socks on, boots on.
That must be exhausting.
I remember Bucks used to be when I first started. He was fully kitted up about an hour before the game, and he had the footy, and you just smack the footy, and he was and he was built like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Walking around, and when you're 18, 19, stay out of his way.
Who is Bucks? Just mucking around. Everyone relax. Mate,
Hello,
have fun.
coach.
Have fun on Sunday.
I will.
To you next time. Scott Pendlebury.